Hey, just checking in to see how everyone is. I know all the states are, well, not all of them, but most of the states are starting at least a partial reopening, but not all cities are. And I'm just curious how people are doing. So we've stayed pretty busy through this because we've been working from home and we've got 3 kids like most of you. We've got kids at home and it's been busy. So for us, it's more a matter of managing time here. But because of what we do, we hear so much from so many of you who have struggled through this time, not only with your kids being home or being lonely. For some of you, it's the opposite, it's being lonely. And now, even though the states are reopening, some of you are struggling with, after being home so long, with what do I do? How do I go out safely? There's a fear of going back out in public. And it's sort of an interesting phenomenon. I mean, it's sort of unprecedented in history. So I just wanted to check in and see how everyone's doing and talk about something that we focus on here, and that is actually focusing on what we can control and not what we can't control. So obviously we can't control coronavirus, and when this whole thing hit, it was a big shock, and how are we going to redo everything? How are we going to restructure everything to just suddenly be able to be at home? But that's what we focused on, what we could control. And so one thing I want to just discuss with you are what are the things you can control during this unprecedented time when you are all so stressed out about either staying at home, having been at home, struggling with your jobs, or now the fear of going back into public when you haven't been in public for so long. And like, what do? Do we wear masks? Do we stay away from people? It's just all so odd, right? And so one thing we've done here, cheers, we have actually really focused on getting really healthy. So one thing I have found, especially with the kids, if I can keep them proactive, like proactively doing something empowering, it alleviates their anxiety. It alleviates my anxiety. It's part of why I practice martial arts. So focusing on, I've had the teenage girls, doing a cleanse with me. And so we've been doing sort of a juice cleanse during the day, a couple days a week, and doing intermittent fasting, and just starting to feel really good. Like they're learning about that for the first time, and they feel really good about it. And so some of the things that we can control is, doing some exercise, even if it's at home. Now we can go for walks more and go hiking and do more stuff like that. And for us, cooking together as a family, cooking really healthy. And just be more proactive about your health, because especially as you go out, you're going to be nervous about getting the virus. Like people are worried all over the country, like, are we going to see this spike in cases when we just don't know? So what can you do to help prevent that? So what's really interesting about coronavirus is the people who seem to be most at risk, they're discovering, are people who are also have the highest rates of preventable chronic illness. So it's the problem we have in our society anyways, right? Preventable chronic illnesses. And a lot of that is because of things we do with our lifestyle. It's our diet. It's the standard American diet, which is just lousy. It's the way we eat. It's from not exercising, from not moving our bodies. It's from being overweight, we're eating too much sugar, and a big part of it is inflammation, or simple things we can do like fixing chronically low vitamin D, right? Things like that. Even fish oil, they've noticed, because it helps decrease inflammation, helps. So one of the things that puts you at risk is those chronic illnesses, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, right? So if you can start to be proactive about your health, get that inflammation down, start to just take start small. Start with something small that makes you feel good. You'll start to feel more empowered, put one step in front of the other. And as you start to do that, it's amazing how quickly you'll start to feel your stress go down. Sleep gets better. We see it all the time. Pain gets better. And I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but rather than just sitting around focusing on what you can't do, we just want you to focus on what you can do. So, hopefully you'll join us in this. If you haven't tried it, try a juice cleanse, do some green drinks during the day. I'm still eating 1 meal a day. I can't do no meals because I exercise. So I'm eating one really healthy meal at night. I do juicing during the day and intermittent fasting. And so that's kind of how I do it. So people ask me a lot. One thing they ask me is why I take so many supplements. It's interesting. We did a podcast today. We had a really interesting guest. He has a supplement with sulforaphane, which is what you find in broccoli sprouts. And he asked me why I am so passionate about supplements myself. What led me down the journey of diet, exercise, and supplements? And I told him, I said, because I was on 9 medications. I felt so awful. So I'm not just giving you this advice because I don't understand. I'm actually giving you this advice because I do understand. When my thyroid cancer came back for the 3rd time, and I was put on just a boatload of medications, and I felt so awful. And I went on this journey to figure it out for myself. And I decided that I would rather take a whole bunch of supplements that didn't have side effects, that would support my own body, it would stimulate my own immune system, it would stimulate my own processes towards getting healthy, versus some of the toxic medications that were giving me a ton of side effects. So that's one of the things that I do. And I just want you to start thinking about, what can you do? I'm not saying you should do that because your situation's not mine, but what can you do that helps you feel empowered? And so for some of you, it's not your physical health, but you've been at home and you're with your kids, which you're not used to. Some of you don't know how to help your kids with their schoolwork or whatever it is. And it's just a lot of people in a small space. And I understand that. So your problems are more anxiety and depression. Well, guess what? Those same strategies that I'm talking about right now, moving your body for a minimum of 30 to 45 minutes a day, an hour if you can, but 30 to 45 minutes a day minimum, go for a walk, do some juicing, do some intermittent fasting, eat healthy, start cooking better, start cutting back your sugar, are going to actually help you with depression and anxiety. I know it sounds crazy, but they help with depression and anxiety. And then one other thing I want to talk about is parenting, because that's a big thing. I'm actually going to have my friend, a friend of ours who has saved my life and my relationship with my daughter. He created the program Love and Logic. It's Jim Fay, and he is amazing. And he's in his 80s, and he's just still one of my heroes. So we're going to do a live chat with him coming up soon. So Jim Fay and his son Charles Fay, and they recently, I'm so grateful. They took all of their information and they took their whole program, because they normally travel all over the country doing seminars. Instead, they put it all online. So I want them to talk to you about that, because we are getting inundated with calls at our clinics about people struggling with parenting and parent-child relationships right now. And it makes sense, because you're taking on a role you're not used to taking on. But if you can even go to Love and Logic, just go to loveandlogic.com, check out their tools. They have the most amazing, simple tools that literally saved my relationship with my daughter. I had the hardest child, strong-willed child, and now I have the easiest teenager because of that. So just check out these tools, and there are things that you can do while you're sort of adjusting to getting back into the real world. Not everybody's going back to work full-time right now. Kids are certainly not going back to school for a while full-time. So try to do what you can during this time while you have this gift of time. Anyways, yes, someone's saying Love and Logic. Yes, it's amazing. So people struggling with parenting should definitely check out Love and Logic. And the answer I got when I prayed about my very strong-willed child and why this was so difficult, and I thought parenting shouldn't be so difficult, was, why are you waiting for a 5-year-old to fix it? That's why they have parents, right? It's our responsibility. So anyways, just wanted to touch base with you. We're starting to open up, and it's different, right? I'm going out and people are still very, very unsure about how to behave. So start doing some things that just make you feel more secure with your health, that boost your immunity, that help you where you can control it, but don't try and control the things you can't. And I hope you guys have a great day. And my husband and I are going to be going live tonight. I'll be going live on Facebook, and we will be answering questions. I hope you guys can join us. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Oh, by the way, before I log off, if anything is helpful to you, please repost. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me what you're doing that would help our community. Post 2 things you're doing through this pandemic that will help the community to just feel empowered. Post it, tag me, and let us know what you're doing. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.